everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Natalie and
Mom
with Natalie and Mom's Kitchen, and we will be right back with Baba's Maka Gigi. I'll explain it in a second.
Natalie's Closet.
Okay, so welcome back everyone. Sorry we didn't have a video last week, but I had taken a week off from all recording all videos from both channels for medical reasons. But anyway, we are back, and this is, we call it Maka. Okay, my grandmother called it Maka Gigi, Makagigi. We're calling it Baba's Maka Gigi because she's the one that passed down the recipe. It's a ridiculously simple dessert. And I think there are variations of it since, well, I don't know, since maybe it was even before, I don't know. But it's been in the family for at least 40, 45 years since my grandmother actually made it herself.
that we used to love.
Yeah, we all used to love it. And the recipe, actually, there are a bunch of recipes that we have, but this recipe was included in a bunch of other recipes that my mom's older sister had handed down from my grandmother to her younger sister when she got married years and years ago. So these have been in the family at least that long, but a lot longer. Anyway, and I'm sure my cousin has it as well, but we couldn't find our version, so we contacted my aunt and she went ahead and sent it to us, and I've been desperately wanting to make this to eat it. So we were like, okay, we're gonna make it for you guys. The only thing is we believe that the measurements that are on here are the accurate measurements. However, with the graham cracker crust, or the base, the crumbs, it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. So I have the box here just in case we need to add any more. We did change a little bit, like the coconut flakes. It calls for half a cup. We did a half cup plus a smidge, like sweetened coconut flakes. We kind of added like a big pinch full. And then the butterscotch chocolate, or the butterscotch chips, it calls for 12 ounces. We did 15. And there's a little bit more of the sweetened condensed milk, which is the Eagles brand. That's actually what it's called for on the recipe, but I guess you can use any kind you want. So there's a little bit more of that, almost 16 ounces. It calls for, I think it's 15 ounces. So we did make slight variations to it to make it ours, even over my grandmother's. But it is ridiculously easy. I am using our brand new Pampered Chef stone baking pan. And since it is the very first time we're using it naturally, as you use it, the more you use it, the more nonstick and seasoned it becomes. But since it's the first time, it suggests to use cooking oil or something. Cooking oil, I think. No, I think it was just cooking oil. To a very thin layer of cooking oil. So I brushed some sunflower oil on it, and to help it not stick this first time, because it says the first few times that you use it, it may stick until it becomes non-stick. So I did do that. That's already on there. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see kind of. You wouldn't see my reflection in it if it didn't have a light layer of oil on it. But we didn't have the size baking sheet that we would need for this. And my mom's like, wait, check your Pampered Chef one. It actually calls for a 10.5 by 15.25 by 1 inch pan. This is actually 14.5 by 10.25 by 1 inch. So it's not quite exactly what it is, but it's close enough. And closer than having done two smaller ones that were not the same size. So we kind of had to, finagle it here. And in order to chop the nuts, because you guys saw the video of my Pampered Chef unboxing, we used the food chopper on a cutting board. We chopped up all the walnuts, and it was awesome because we just, my mom kept it in the little cup and just kind of slid it right off into the bowl, so it was easy peasy. So we are using some Pampered Chef stuff. Actually, nope, this isn't Pampered Chef. This is Williams Sonoma. But anyway, so what it calls for, you start with a half a stick of margarine or butter, and you melt it and pour it over the sheet, which honestly this doesn't even seem like that's enough, but there's a half a stick. I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna.
Okay.
Right.
There's another one.
Oh no, I have it right here. It was on the edge. Didn't touch anything. So
this salt that happens to be salted
this
butter.
okay. So this happens to be salted butter. We're not using margarine. We're using butter, and we just melted it until it was melted. We didn't. What is it called?
We didn't.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. Okay.
We didn't make. Yeah.
This seriously, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would be enough, but well. Okay, guys, you're learning with us. We didn't want to have to make a whole sheet of this and that just to test it out, which I guess maybe we should have. But that would have been.
We're adjusting it anyway. So
right, we're adjusting it anyway, but we'll see if this one works. And yeah, it's enough. It's just a nice light layer.
Doesn't seem like it,
I know. It's kind of settling in the center though, so maybe once I put the breadcrumbs in, it'll even out. But so it's basically just a really light layer.
Clarified butter.
That's it. It's not clear. We didn't clarify it, which is where you take it to a boil and until it like kind of smells like nuts, and then oh my god, that clarified butter is amazing. But anyway, we didn't clarify it. We just melted it, which is what the recipe calls for, and we're just using a pastry brush. I just want to try to get as much of it off as possible. So bear with us, guys. You guys are learning this with us because this is the first time we've made this recipe in 20 years.
Yeah,
maybe
at least, yeah.
20, 30 years. All right, so then it calls for, that was a half a stick of butter, salted butter. This is 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. You pour over the sheet and you even out. Now, it didn't seem like that would be enough, so I have the box here. We're using Keebler. It just happened to be the only one that had the crumbs. So I'm just going to, of course we had it all prepared just so we didn't have to sit here and measure everything and
I
chop on
wonder
camera.
If sweet butter is better than salted. Again, those who
sweet or unsalted.
I'm sorry, unsalted. Well, sweet is what kind of, some of them call it. So if anybody's got a preference, they can use that.
Yeah, so use whatever it is that you may prefer.
Typically use for baking. We just didn't have any sweet butter.
Right.
We just had the salt, but it's light sea salt.
Which we love salty and sweet, so this may actually work out well, and this may actually be enough.
See?
So I'm just spreading it out to even it a little bit, and make sure there's graham crackers everywhere.
Because we are obsessive compulsive.
Yep, you guys. I told you guys that nothing can be left on the edges of the bowl, and maybe not at nothing, but very, very little. Now there is some. Now I did oil the sides also, since this is going to get a little bit thicker. And if this gets too long and you guys get bored, I guess you guys can close it, but hopefully not. You guys can deal with my obsessive compulsiveness with it when it comes to this. And those of you that know me from my other channel know exactly what I'm talking about, and you guys love me anyway, so I appreciate the support. All right, so I think it is pretty even. Plus, you want it to be even because you want there to be a nice layer through the whole thing, you know. So, all right, so I think there's enough. You want to look really quick? You're not on camera, don't worry.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I think it is enough. It's just
in that bowl, it just did not look like 1.5 cups was going to be enough. So,
okay, live and learn.
Yep. All right. So, we've got it doesn't say that if you used a nonstick pan, I mean, you don't have to do anything. It doesn't say if you're not using a nonstick to put a layer of butter or like oil or anything on it. It doesn't say to make it nonstick, but we had to because this is the first time we're using this. Right. So we've got the light layer of oil. We had the half of a stick of melted butter. Then I did 1.5 cups of the graham cracker crumbs, and then you do 1/2 cup of shredded coconut. Now this is the sweetened coconut, which is like the moist coconut, pieces. They have an unsweetened one, and it's very dry. The coconut the shreds of coconut are very, very dry. So this is what we used, is the sweetened coconut flakes.
From my memory, that's what we used.
Right, it's the shredded coconut.
Right,
yeah, so it does call for half a cup, but we, like I said, we did a half a cup, plus she just kind of took a small handful and poured in a little bit more.
All right.
So you guys can, you know, play with it, do, you know, we just remembered that it tasted really good with coconut. So
yeah, the way she made it was to die for.
And again, who knows? My aunt could have made adjustments to some of these recipes, and then when she sent it back to my other aunt, you know, we don't know, but I don't think she did. She wasn't one to necessarily we follow recipes in our family. Well, okay, except for my aunt, my grandmother's sister, who was a chef, and with her, you can't really get a recipe because it's, well, you do this and plus a pinch of this, but a pinch of that is like half of a palmful, and or 3 cups, you know what, that doesn't taste right. Okay, let's add another whatever. And so you never really, really, really fully had an actual recipe. We would have to watch her when she was telling us the recipe to kind of tell what.
Stop her and say,
exactly.
Let's measure.
So this, I don't know if you guys like more coconut, you may want to add it. You guys are seeing what I'm doing. So this literally is not even, I can't even say that it's evenly spaced out, but it's not a full layer of. You still see the graham crackers through it. So if you want more coconut, this was, like I said, half a cup plus a handful, like a fingerful.
Like a fingerful.
It was like this, like she went like this and poured it or put it into the cup. So if you guys want more, you know, feel free. Want less, you don't want any, you don't want any something of this, or you want to add something different, feel free. Let us know. If you made your own if you tried this and said, it's okay, but, well, I don't know that anybody would say, it's okay if you like sweets. This is delicious. But if it wasn't what you were expecting, or if you said, I don't really want coconut, I want to do this, let us know what changes you made. We'd love to know so we can try it.
Or somebody may not want nuts. Somebody may
want
more
you may be allergic
chips.
to nuts, or you may want only chocolate chips, no butterscotch, or you may want peanut butter chips instead of, you know. Right. So, I mean, you can make this is like any variation you can make on this. It calls for 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, which is what we did. Again, I just want to make sure we have at least some everywhere. Oh yeah, we're gonna have plenty. And
I think that was the most of it was the chocolate chip and the
butterscotch. Yeah.
And now there's gonna be even more butterscotch.
I know, because I love butterscotch. Actually, I didn't really ask my mom if she was okay with me increasing it.
We're gonna give some of this away anyway. You know.
Yep. But I love butterscotch chips, and I was like, you know what? Plus, it calls for 12 ounces, and well, what do you know? The bag was only 11 ounces, so shucks. I either had to go less or buy another bag. So what did I do? I bought another bag. And like I said, I only added 3 more ounces, but
also even the chocolate chips.
No, the semi-sweet chocolate chips came as 12 ounces, which is what it calls for. Okay. But the butterscotch only came as an 11 ounce in any of the brands, which, well, actually there were only 2 brands, I think. Right, and I can't remember if these were Nestle or if they were, I think they were Nestle. They weren't Publix. Or I'm sorry, Toll House. Not Publix or whatever. But again, if you guys wanted to make a full layer of chocolate chips, go for it. This is, well, I don't have any more to add even if I wanted to. But
no, I think that's fine. Because it's all going to melt together.
Right.
And that evaporated milk is going to, condensed milk is
yeah. So then, like I said, it calls for 12 ounces of butterscotch chips. They didn't have 12 ounces, so we did, and we wanted to make kind of a little bit of a difference. So we did 15 ounces. You can use butterscotch. You can use whatever you want. The butterscotch really does give it its flair, I think. I mean, it's, I think the butterscotch gives it its thing. Truthfully. I think, personally. But, and I used to love, after, I know, a couple years ago, they don't have it anymore, at least not anywhere down here. But I used to love, because it reminded me of this, I used to love Starbucks' 7-layer bar.
Oh,
because it was similar. It was not the same. They did something different with theirs, I think, but they don't make it anymore, which is really sad because it was really good. But now that we have the recipe.
Plus, we don't go to Starbucks that often.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been to Starbucks in a long time.
Getting smarter with age, making it at home.
Even the puppuccino, we just do a little bit of ready whip, whipped cream, and because Miley loves the puppuccino. Well, she's only had an actual puppuccino from Starbucks like twice, I think, but
okay, so that looks like it's thicker. It's spread out nicely thicker. You can see more of that pounder than you did the chocolate chips, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm just going to kind of, because there are little areas where it seems like there's not quite as much of one or the other, so I'm just trying to, of course, the edges are probably going to be almost caramelized once it melts and melds all together. And if you do have a brand new stone, specifically Pampered Chef, because those are the instructions I just read, it actually says not to use aerosolized cooking spray because it will make it like a sticky consistency, like a film that's very difficult to get off. And since you don't wash these stones with soap, I know, sounds weird, but watch my unboxing if you want to hear any more. All right, so I think that's pretty even. Does that not look delicious? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You guys have no idea. I just need to take a quick drink of water. Sorry, guys. All right, so then you take 1.5 cans of Eagle brand sweet condensed milk. Now, this is slightly more than 1.5 cans. 1.5 cans ended up being... 1.5 cans would have been 15 ounces. This is almost at 16 ounces, so it's slightly more. And it just says to pour over the chips. So I'm gonna, until I need this, I'm going to put that right there. This is where I get nervous because I'm like, I want it everywhere.
Yeah, sprinkle like everywhere, and then it'll fill in, and then sure, easier said than done while I'm sitting here.
So again, you can use, well, this is kind of what makes it also. So, I mean, I don't know that you want to not use condensed milk, but if you cook with something other than condensed milk or in place of condensed milk and you know it works, then, you know, go for it. But I know that this is kind of what makes this. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait, guys. You have no idea. We've had the oven preheating for a while because our oven takes a little bit. Oopsie, got that on the side. We're not going to obviously sit here for the 40 minutes that it's in the oven. I'm just going to pop it in the oven and then we'll be back once it's done and you'll see the finished product. But, guys, I'm like so... Oh, my mouth is watering. I have not had this hour recipe of Maka Gigi in 20...
Oh, more than that. I don't
30 years maybe? I don't know. It's been since we've been down in Florida, I think.
I don't remember making it.
Maybe not. So...
Caramelica we made.
Oh, that's another. We have a caramel cake that this... Woo! Delicious.
Yeah, I see a little missing from this side, right? Yeah, perfect right there. But that's only because from my vantage point.
Yeah, so now...
And I know we can refrigerate it. We should refrigerate it because down in Florida, you want to refrigerate anything you can because the humidity just...
Yeah, once it's cooked and it's ready to...
Yeah, but I don't know if we could freeze it. I'm going to check into
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't see why not. Everything seems to be able to be frozen.
Yeah, because then we could cut it up in chunks and then just pull them out and
Speak for yourself. I'm taking half of this and going. No, I'm so kidding.
I know.
So
I know
kidding.
you are because I know you are because you say the same thing each time and then, I think I'm going to have to put this away for later.
For later, yes. All right, so I pretty much got it everywhere. I think there may be a spot or two that it may not have gotten in, but as it melts in the oven, it'll fill in totally. Here's hoping. All right, so we got that. Now we've got the nuts. It calls for 1.5 cups crushed walnuts, pecans, or almonds, and you pour over the top. So again, if you have nut allergies, you can't use it, then, you know,
Maybe
sorry.
they've got to have some, like crane, I forgot what it's called. If they have a peanut butter made out of it, something that's an artificial nut flavor,
okay.
but I don't know if they have the actual nut consistency also in that, or if it just comes in peanut butter form. But yeah, this it's, if somebody doesn't like, maybe they can throw on. I was gonna say some kind of like a raspberries or something, but I don't know if this would lend itself. That would be.
I would just say skip it. Unless you have substitutions that you use for nut allergies that you know works well with baking and stuff. Otherwise, I would probably say. Well, I don't know. You could do whatever you want. If there's something else that floats your boat, you know, like she said, raspberry preserves, or I don't know.
I don't know, because it would be hard, sloppy to get up on top there.
It would. Plus, I don't know with butterscotch chips if that would necessarily lend itself. But you know, whatever. If there's something that, if you don't use butterscotch chips and there's something else that you can think of.
Maybe, like pepitas? Or
I don't know if you really love pepitas. My mom loves pepitas, so.
I'm just thinking, but if you don't have an allergy to seeds, you might be able to, or some kind of whatever goes on, like the trail mix.
Yeah.
Granola, maybe granola.
Oh yeah, or granola or something like
just
that.
Just to have something for texture.
All right, so this is it. I think I've got it some kind of nut on every part. That's another thing we wouldn't have had a problem changing or adding because we love nuts. But yeah, so voila. This is heavy. I mean, the stone itself is heavy, but holy crapola, this is heavy. So let me just rinse my hands, and then we are going to say adios for a little bit. It calls for put in a 300 degree oven, so you want to do it at 300 degrees for 40 minutes, and then you let the pan cool before you cut it. So this is it so far.
If I may make a suggestion, get an oven thermometer, because we found out the hard way that my oven was not, I have toaster oven, is temperature controlled already better, but the oven wasn't heating the way we thought it was. So just get an oven thermometer, hang it on there, and it may take you longer to get to a certain temperature, but at least you'll learn which way to go. If you need to have the 300 degree oven, you may have to set it at 325 or 275.
Or you may need to, which when we were looking for bread recipes, the woman that was making the bread said that her oven takes like 40 minutes to get to 450 degrees. So it may take a really long time to get there, or it may never get there, like she said, and you may need to do it a little bit hotter to get it to the right temperature. But then you want to make sure that it's not actually getting hotter.
Yeah.
And now you're cooking at a higher, or baking or cooking at a higher temperature. So 300 degrees for 40 minutes, and we will be back with you when it is done. I don't know that we're going to wait until it actually cools to, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll be back. We'll be back once it is out of the oven. So hope you've enjoyed it so far, and we will see you, well, for you guys in like a second, but for us in probably about an hour. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Here is the finished Baba's Maka Gigi. Now, we did do it in the stone. It's the first time we have used the stone. It has been out cooling for an hour. Well, if you actually feel the bottom of the stone, which obviously you can't, it's actually still quite hot. The sides are fine. Well, actually, the bottom sides are warm. Underneath, it's still hot. So these feel a lot softer than they would be if they were actually fully cooled when I cut them. So I would suggest that you let it fully cool before you serve, or unless you don't mind them being softer, that's fine too. So obviously with the stone, I think we would have to let it, because you don't want to, you want to wait until it's cooled before you cut and put it onto a plate, because otherwise it's going to totally fall apart. So if you're using a stone, I would suggest doing it a little bit, or letting it cool a little bit longer. This is what it looks like. Whoa. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Now when it would, if it were cooler, it probably would look a little bit more, it would look layered more, I think. But right now it's still very soft. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like totally pliable. And it is very, very warm. The top is obviously cooled off, but the bottom is actually very, very warm still. But look at this deliciousness. Oh my goodness. And the house smells divine. I actually went back to our house. Miley and I went back to our house, and when we put it in the oven and we came back in, and I was like, oh my gosh, after the 40 minutes, I was ready to just dive into it now. But this is absolutely delicious. We both were standing here while I went ahead and I cut it, and it actually cut away from the sides pretty nicely, which was nice. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe and all of the back and forth history on it. Well, not back and forth, but you know what I mean. Anyway, if you guys make it, I would love to hear what you think. If you make any changes, whether it's totally changing the ingredients, or instead of using butterscotch, using peanut butter, or not using nuts, or adding something, we would love to hear what it is, and so that we can go ahead and try it ourselves. But I'm telling you right now, I kind of want to take this home with me by myself, and my mom can just not have any. I'm so kidding. I wouldn't do that to her. Anyway, so we hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions or anything like that, let us know in the comment section below. If you are new to our channel, I would love it, or we would love it, if you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell next to that. Make sure you hit it to all so that you have a better chance of getting notifications on all the videos we post. If you wouldn't mind giving the video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Sharing is very much appreciated as well. And we will be back next week. We're ready. We already have the wheels turning in our heads as to what it is we're going to go ahead and do for next week. So hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think if you go ahead and try it. If you make changes, let us know. We would love to hear about it. And we will see you guys next week. Have a great night.
Bye.
My mom says bye. I think you heard her though. She's only right like maybe 20 feet from me. All right, so and I don't know if you see Miley down here. Ooh, sorry. I just poked her in the nose. She says hi to her peeps, which are not on this channel. They're on the other channel, but a lot of her peeps are part of this channel, so she just had to stick her nose in. All right, have a great rest of your Sunday, and we will see you soon. Oh, I thought Miley was going to say something to you guys, but I guess, yeah, she's talking back to us. She wants her turkey. Okay, we'll see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.